So welcome to our Monday Magic for what's today? October 11th. I feel like the days keep flying by. Let's take a moment to come into this space together, and then I have a little bit of like astrological insight I'd like to share about this week, and we'll get into our setup. So if you can, go ahead and close your eyes, just taking a moment to drop more fully into you, whatever that means. And you certainly don't have to close your eyes to do this, although I do find closing the eyes shuts off the distractions of the external world in one way, through one sense. Begin to deepen your breath, allowing yourself to feel where you are in time and space. Feel your body, feel your energy. And as we enter into this new week, taking this moment to connect a little bit more deeply with your intuition, your higher self, and asking that your higher self bring forward the insights, the downloads, the focus areas that are for your highest and best good this week. Not just what is logical, but what is actually correct for you, highest and best for you. And similarly, I ask to set aside any distractions to show up from a place of my higher self and bring forward the insights, the downloads, and perhaps even the questions that are for the highest and best good of everyone tuning in to this call, either live or through the replay. Taking another full breath in and a complete breath out. And before even opening your eyes, before we even go into your process, taking an extra moment here to check in with how you're doing today. How are you feeling? How is your energy? How is your focus? Where is your heart? I'm not judging anything that comes up. Simply allowing the space for that information to come through. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Again, thank you for being here. For those of you tuning into this replay, thank you for being here. This week we have some, well, first I'll share when I wanted to share that extra like tune in moment, because I'm feeling really tired today. I didn't sleep very well last night. And I'm so fortunate that one, I make my own schedule, and so I can adjust as needed. And it's in moments like these that I really just, in the hustle and bustle of everything going on or the day to day, it can be easy to forget maybe why you made a choice to pursue a different path or to show up for yourself and do work on yourself. But I just feel very fortunate in this moment that I do make my own schedule, and I've crafted it as such that Mondays usually aren't heavy days for me. So I can rest. And whether that's you today or not, it's an important reminder that pushing through, sometimes we have to show up, whether we had a crap night of sleep or something's going on in your personal life that you don't feel like your shiniest and best self. Sometimes you do have to show up. But there's also power in just resting, in saying, well, like, my heart isn't in this today. I don't have the energy. And instead allowing yourself whatever your soul needs, your spirit needs, your body needs, so that you can, when usually I find when I do that, I can show up for the things that much more fully, that much better when I do. So I'll be doing that today, probably immediately after this call, going horizontal. And yeah. So, but what I do want to share is that there is some exciting astrology happening this week. And the overall vibe is that we're starting to have more forward movement, especially in the ways of communication, expansion, joy, and with our work. So what does that mean? What's actually happening? Today, Monday, the 11th of October, Saturn is going direct. And I'm pretty sure this planet has been retrograde for at least a few months now. I think it's since May, it's been retrograde. Retrogrades get a bad rep because of Mercury retrograde, which we've talked about, but it's not always, it's not bad. A lot of planets are retrograde for a better portion of the year. Saturn is our planet. It's the timekeeper. It's our boundaries. It's often our work, our life's work. And so there's been a review period. Anytime there's a retrograde, it's a review period, a reflection period. So we've had this big review period. And for many people, that might feel like there hasn't been as much forward movement. There hasn't been as much linear progress. And that might be true. But Saturn is turning direct today. So hopefully we'll start to feel a little bit more of that flow. Jupiter is turning direct or stationing direct later this week. And then, thank the heavens, Mercury is stationing retrograde next Monday. So a week from today. So a week from today, we're going to be in a totally different energetic place. We'll also be starting to approach that Scorpio season. So whatever that means or doesn't mean to you, maybe taking an extra moment to, again, tune in. Am I still feeling a little bit reflective? You can allow yourself to be more in that review, that reflection period this week. Not that you can't allow yourself to be in it next week, but it might be more in flow, and then to know that the momentum is coming back, the forward motion is coming back. I know for me, realizing that, because I guess I knew that Saturn was retrograde, but it's not like Mercury retrograde where we hear about it. We know, okay, it's starting, it's stopping, it's a shorter period. For me, hearing this and getting that reminder was like a sigh of relief, like, okay, I get it, because I do feel like this has been like quite a big review period where things have not flowed as forward as easily as possible. So that's what I have to share today. Maybe we'll pull a card after we do our setup, but let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to mute myself. You're welcome to put on some music or anything that would be supportive as you brain dump and we need a better name for brain dump. So if anybody has a better name for brain dump, because I don't like the idea of like just dumping, that kind of has a negative, like trash connotation. But getting all of our tasks out. And if you'd like to pick out 1, 2, or 3 priority items for the week, you can do that as well. And we'll meet back here in like 7, 8 minutes or so. All right. How are we doing? Well, good. Good. Um, I took a little moment at the end there to like drop in and almost like meditate to get clear, because there's a lot of different moving parts. This has been the theme of this, like the last few weeks for me, but especially with the retreat while also running different coaching programs. There's a lot of different parts, but when I tuned in, the most important things for me to do this week are, one, I do have one more space in the retreat that I'd like to fill. And so placing some energy towards that. But the big priority for these next 2 weeks leading up to the retreat is really taking care of myself. And that's something that it's like the theme of today, rest is okay. It's okay to take care of yourself, but especially leading up to an experience such as a retreat. Like, this is not my first time at the rodeo. I know what it takes, but also I'm in a different place. And I, especially given like the status of the world and our world health, it feels of utmost priority for me to show up as healthy, like mind, body, spirit as possible. And what that means is that I'm going to be working less the next 2 weeks. I'm not going to be hustling or like trying to launch something new. Just really allowing myself like to fill myself up so that I can be, because even though retreats are the most fun, you are on 100%. Like when you wake up to when you go to sleep, it's the best. Especially the generator in me is like, this is my favorite thing. I don't feel tired, but I know that it takes a lot. And so I have to have that reserve, and I can't show up from a like depleted place. So that's what I'm working on. Would anyone else like to share their big rock or their priority item or an insight that they had? You absolutely don't have to, but if you'd like to, you're welcome to unmute yourself or type in the chat and I'll read it out loud.
Okay, I'll speak.
Sally, love it.
I know I don't appear on camera because I don't like it, but I'm making myself do it because I think
love
it's a
it.
good idea. Mine is that I've got to make an appointment with a friend of mine to go through my CV, or whatever the kids call it these days.
Yeah.
I've been out of the regular sort of job market for about, I would say about 10 years. I do work, but my last job didn't involve me having an interview. So I can't remember the last time I had a proper interview. And I don't really have a proper, well, I'll call it CV for now, but a way of sort of putting myself forward for another job. I like to transition out of my job, so I'm probably calling in like a bridge job. So it probably will be the sort of regular job market. I'd love to just quit. I know, was it you who did it, Courtney? Yeah, brave. I can't just do that. I think I've got to, well, I'm too scared. So yeah, so I've got to get myself together basically to know what my next step's going to be.
Yeah. Well, I love that you even said, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I want to do a sort of a bigger sort of longer term career roadmap, how I'm going to go, but I might need some help with that, Emily.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, let's definitely talk when you're ready.
But for now, I just need to get my what together.
And that's so, I love that is your most important item, because sometimes we're like, oh, I have to have it completed and I mean, that's the end goal, of course, is to have the CV, but for you to say, I'm going to make an appointment with my friend to help me go over this, like, that's great. That's a way of breaking it down to like a super reasonable step, and something that, it's empowering. It's powerful for us, especially when these things feel like bigger. Like, it's probably not that much work putting together a resume, but emotionally it is. And I hear you, because I haven't had a regular job interview. I don't know. I mean, I had a resume out of college. That was a decade ago.
It was a lot longer ago for me.
But I feel you. It's like, when I thought about that, because I've thought about that over the years of like, I should probably update this just in case, or like, it feels like a lot because it's also it's not just a document. It's like something that represents you and puts your face forward. So I feel you, and just that's an awesome step, and also a great step given this like forward moving energy, especially in Saturn. Cool. Court, do you want to share?
Yeah, I don't know, like if I have a really big rock, like the thing that was coming to me is just I still feel a little bit in this space. I don't know if it's because like I quit my job right before Mercury retrograde or what happened, but I really feel like it's like a slow process, like settling in. And what was coming to me as I was thinking about that, like during our time, was like that would be with any job. Like I have a new job, like I am settling into the routines of it, and like how do I prioritize time? When do I do this? How do I do this? And the other side of that is like I'm also studying for the boards at the end of this month. So that feels like two separate things, but the thing that I just realized is it's so related and it's so obvious. But like that's like my training manual. It's like, yes, I'm training and I'm doing the job, and like here I am. So yeah, kind of just more of the same for me, but it feels good to have that connection made in my mind that studying for the exam is not like a separate chore or task. It is part of the training. So that's what I'll be.
I love that. No, I love that. And it's really another important point that you bring up is when we make these transitions, whether you are like, we often forget if we're doing the work for ourselves, what an employer would give us. An employer would give you time, hopefully. Let's think like ideal, like one of those like Fortune top 100 companies to work for. Like you'd have weeks of training. You'd have also time. This is something that is not exactly what you're saying, but I noticed this when I first started is I didn't give myself time to continue my education. I mean, I was always continuing to learn, but that was like more on my own time. And then finally, after a little while, I was like, wait a second, my energy can't just all be giving or out. There also has to be this like training or mentoring that I invest in. So I think that's a really like powerful shift that you see, and that will be great to continue as you continue on this journey. Awesome. Let's pull a card. I'm feeling like I need a little, or I want a little card magic today. Also, if anybody does not have this is my 2021 one. I'm not an affiliate. I should probably be an affiliate. Magic of Eye is I love their company. They have these astrological planners. They're great. Their 2022 one is out. I pre-ordered mine a few weeks ago and I got it in the mail last week, but you can now order your 2022 one. And I highly recommend it. Maybe one day in the future, I will have a discount code and I will pop it in the replay of this video and share it with y'all. But for now, I'm just telling you what I use and love. Also, maybe one day in the future, I will like be official affiliate of Kim Krantz, since I think I've sold like 500 of these tarot decks. Okay, so this card is for us this week. A little bit of extra guidance or inspiration. Interesting, the King. The King. Haven't pulled this one in a while. The King, the ruler, the commander, the emperor. If our lives are imagined as a kingdom, Courtney, did I pull this one for you recently? I feel like I did. If our lives are imagined as a kingdom containing the entire spectrum of human experience, the king presides over it all. Through the lens of the king, we assess the state of our land, make decisions, and rule accordingly. I mean, this does have a very like Saturn feel to it. Therefore, the king must be thoroughly and regularly vetted as to avoid corruption. Recognize the dual nature of the king. He is either seated in benevolence and strength, guiding you towards peace, or he is oppressing the weak out of a need to control. There is not much middle ground. Some think of the king as the ultimate expression of the ego, yet the great kings of mythology and history serve from an egoless place. They take their throne with grace and humility, knowing that the divine uses them as a channel to heal deep and long-standing discrepancies in the kingdom. When light, benevolence, divine leadership, service, nobility. When dark, oppression, misuse of power, corruption. Cool. So the king is necessary. He is a bridge between the eternal and the day-to-day. It is also said that it's necessary for the king to die. This is the death of an ego. So I'm not even gonna like interpret that one. I feel like we all will take our own little piece from that, but definitely something to think about in the week to come.
Emily, yes, I think you did pull that for me recently.
Yeah.
So
just as I said, I haven't pulled it for myself,
to.
pulled it for someone else. All right, my friends, thank you so much for being here. To everyone watching this on YouTube later, thank you. If you'd like to share your big rock for the week or an insight, or even if there's something in this card that resonates or stands out with you, I always love to hear that. You can leave a comment on the video, and we will see y'all here. We will, me and the king, we'll see y'all here next Monday for our weekly call. Until then, be well, get rest if you need it, and I hope to see you on the interwebs.